Good morning, Rural Caucus.
Well, good morning, Veterans Caucus. This is ridiculousness. We are being recorded.
Yes,
So
ma'am, I saw.
well, I don't know how to go back to, well, I do know I can just end this session and go back to another session, but I'm apparently supposed to sit here until 9:55. But I did find out something, which maybe you can talk to Daniel Ivy Soto about. And I found this.
Let's do this offline.
No. This is something that I was going to discuss in this meeting.
Okay.
So when you go to the New Mexico legislative website, there is a daily bill locator. And I was going to put that information in the chat, which I can do. So where's the chat on here? Okay. So there's a daily bill locator. And let me pull up let's see, House legislation filed. Okay, so I am going to copy this link and I am going to place it in the chat here. Now, when you go to this link here, you'll see pre-filed bills, and there are 44 lines, pre-filed bills, okay?
Okay.
You're interested in doing that. This is what I was going to talk about anyway, so you and I can discuss this because it applies to you too.
Yeah.
When you go to that link, those are all House bills. And I thought that perhaps the Senate hadn't filed anything yet.
They don't number them.
Okay, but
Well,
the way that I had to locate those is to go to a Twitter link, a link that was posted on Twitter. And that link I will give to you at this point in time. Let me find
so we're talking about transparency issues?
Yeah. I think we're talking, but the point is there are rural bills here, and I'm going to place this second link in the chat. And this is where you have to go to find, it's like buried, but I can't post, I don't know how to share a screen on here, but I found this link because Steffi was researching rural bills, and she was kind enough to put them in a spreadsheet, and she did identify them. But she told me about the Senate bills, and I said, well, could you please pass me that link? And I said, how am I supposed to find that link if I'm not on Twitter? Like, how many people that you know are savvy enough to look at Twitter accounts to find links to bills? So I think it's just kind of not understandable why they don't put this on the daily bill locator.
I'm just finding this out right now. Yesterday, I think Senator Ivy Soto had mentioned in our legislative meeting with the CBA that the Senate does it, but they don't number them. But nobody asked where they were. So this is good to at least know where they were. I'm sure Dorothy and Joan know this because they've been working this system for so long. But it ought to be easier.
But you know, the rural caucus people need to be able to identify bills in one place. I mean, it just seems fair to me. It just seems fair to me that if you're going to have what you call a daily bill locator on the New Mexico legislative website, that you include Senate bills. I mean, when discussions are held, when committees are meeting, at least in a hybrid format, we all can identify those, where they are, how to get in. When the bill is acted upon, there's a place to look at specific legislation, but how do you start at this point in time? So I really think that there should be a transparency discussion about
I agree.
bills. There's no secret.
No, I know.
Stevie did do a good job, and had she not contacted me this morning about the spreadsheet she developed, I would not even have known this. I assumed that Senate bills would be pre-filed in the next few days. So there are a few, about 6 or 7 out of the Senate list. Well, even maybe less than that, about 5, I would say.
Hang on a second. I've got Sandy giving me a call. Okay. Hey, Evelyn,
Yeah,
I'm talking to Sandy and she's trying to
Sandy.
get in.
Sandy who?
And Sandy Stuhlberg.
Ah,
There's no
okay.
other Sandy in my world.
Uh,
So she's at that same email and she clicked on Zoom events account and it's like a do loop. She can't get in.
she's not the only one. I got a call from Rocky Cordova and Heather Benavides,
Yeah, I've been talking to them too. They're
you know,
frantically trying to get in.
right, because it's not fair. Laura's in and Heather's not. I don't know what to say, except you just have to keep
Okay.
clicking. That's how I got in early this morning, is I just kept
Yeah.
clicking. And Laura knows about this, and I understand that new technology is nice,
Okay.
but
So
I
Sandy, it's a major source of.
it's everyone has had that problem. So
Did you pre-register for this event?
yeah, I followed all the little directions that I kept getting from Ivan.
Oh,
So
and so
first,
she did. She followed all the directions. I didn't do any of that, and I got up late, and I clicked it on, and then Evelyn walked me through it, and it was working then. But it may be that.
hi, Zach.
Hey, Evelyn. How's it
We were
going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Hello, Madam Chair. Hello, Madam Chair. It's great to see both of you.
Well, I'm not a chair, I'm a vice chair, but Claudia is the chair of the Vets Caucus. We kind of work hand in hand, Claudia and I, because we live near each other.
Gotcha.
So the Vets Caucus is about 1.5 years ahead of us in organization, but we are working on it, Zach.
Fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to be involved and support however way I can. I saw the meeting was going. I had just spoken with PDA about our climate audit plan that we're going to be pushing out next week for our statewide race. We're going to audit the oil and gas industry. So,
Excellent. Well,
yep.
we had a
Hey,
little
Zach.
we had a little discussion. If you look at the chat,
Yeah.
something odd that came up this morning, just 5 minutes before I logged into this meeting. So at 8:55. The House bills that are filed, and I'm studying these bills for rural aspect, what bills have to do with rural and what don't. So I had a link to the Daily Locator, which is the first item in the chat. So those are House bills. And then I assumed that Senate bills hadn't been filed yet, because I'd like to look at Senate bills, and I thought maybe they'd filed a little bit later, but no, the Senate bills are pre-filed, but the only way to access the link that I placed in there is somebody told me that it was on Twitter. And so so I wrote another comment. If anyone notices the two links above, House bills, I spelled that wrong, are listed in the NM Daily Bill Locator, but Senate bills are not. I found out about the Senate bill link from someone who told me that the link to Senate pre-filed bills listed on Twitter. How is this fair? Question. If I get anything out of this session today, it's this information. Don't you think that all Senate and House bills should be in one spot in the Daily Bill Locator?
Yeah, absolutely. The state legislative services have used a very antiquated software for the last, 15 years. I do think maybe it's just, updating and upgrading their system and network to be able to provide something really easy in a one-stop shop. Just like, here's the total list of House bills and Senate bills.
Exactly.
From one to current number, and then it just gets uploaded as they come. And that's it. But it could be again, a very outdated software where if you change something on one page, it has a ripple effect to the other pages. So they have to keep the system as it is. But that isn't fair. That's not transparent. And it's something that I would absolutely be very vocal and pushing about for transparency purposes. So transparency score.
So that's the first thing that came. So it probably, I hate to be cynical, but I'd like to stand in your camp, Zach, and say that it's a technology issue, which also I'm sure that the Rural Caucus would have had more attendees in this session had we had technology in this instance, a new Zoom platform being introduced 5 minutes before the session, kind of, people just can't get in. But Zach, that we had that great rural summit with over 100 participants.
Exactly.
On December 11th. And then just 2 nights ago, on Thursday night, we had, I would say, 20 participants in a legislative forum discussing rural issues. Matthew McQueen spoke to us about some bills that he was putting forward. Antoinette Cedillo Lopez was there discussing Green Amendment, which has some direct impact on rural. And we had Michaela Cadena discussing with us. So, we are trying to cover the bases, Zach, with keeping our thumb on the rural caucus or the rural legislation. So anyway, if you have any suggestions for how we can improve the rural caucus, please let me know. I mean, I'm taking all my guidance from Miss Claudia over there.
Then you're in good hands.
Captain Doctor, I just learned that.
Yeah.
And she's really helped out a lot. So basically, I've already covered what I was going to talk about. There's no point in preaching to the choir here. You guys probably know more about rural bills that are coming forward than I do. So, yeah.
You had a good meeting with the legislators the other night, Evelyn. That was really nice. And you had a number of your caucus members show up, and it was a good exchange. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job for something that is just starting. It's not easy.
It's not.
I love the logo.
And
Isn't
the
it beautiful?
logo, Peter Nieto has a friend, I think. Peter's the chair. Peter is with his family in Texas getting, some nice family time.
Okay.
So that's why he's not here. But I'm kind of the spokesperson for the caucus, and he is the leader behind the scenes. But eventually, when his mayoral duties settle in, then he'll start picking up more of the ball here. He was reelected. He was just installed for the second time. And, you know, he's got a lot of hats to wear, and I try to help. But the way I define that rural summit, the legislative town hall we had on Thursday night was productive informality. There were
That
only
was very
20,
good.
yeah, there were only 20 people there, but 3 of them
Fine.
were legislators. And I had a statement from Marion Matthews that outlined some bills that were going to be important that she was putting forward. One was agritourism, which was interesting. As an auditor, future auditor, hopefully, the insurance rate for Marion Matthews pointed out that the insurance rates for like pumpkin patches and
Right.
stuff that. She's calling that agritourism initiative to try to figure out how to avoid high cost insurance premiums for things like pumpkin patches. We know that the ski industry and the equine industry, Marion Matthews pointed this out, they have bills legislated in the past that help curtail the high insurance. And she's trying to get them in for pumpkin patches, harvest festivals, things like that.
That sounds pretty exciting. I mean, the immediate thing I think of is like Halloween themed tourism throughout New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Which is, you know, we're the best state to pull it off. You know, all due respect to Maryland and a couple of other states, but I think New Mexico is uniquely situated with its history and everything that we have, and just the overall aesthetic as well. When we decorate for Halloween, we go all out. Those pumpkin patches are a big deal. I think it's something worth exploring. I don't know a lot about the industry as a whole as it relates to the taxes and the incentives related to it, but I'd love to hear from a subject matter expert, dive right into it and see what we can get done.
Yeah.
Let me share an interesting thing. When we lived in Italy, they have a thing called agriturismo, which is agricultural tourism. And what they did years ago is to offer a tax break to small farmers. And if the farmers served meals, you know, like outside or in a small outbuilding, and they used 90% of everything that they raised and grew and made there on that little farm, and if they had a couple of rooms that they would offer to people to sleep, they didn't pay, they got a huge tax cut on their farms. And this was a way that Italy was trying to save their small farms. And it was fabulous, you know, because Italy is all about the food, right?
Yeah.
And if you can go to these little farm restaurants, and literally sometimes they'd have like 3 tables. In the summer we went, they had like 45 tables because, you know, they got land, it's a farm. And you can go and the kids come and there's chickens and goats running around and a pig on a spit, not so happy not to pet, but a lot of stuff going on. And they made everything and they served the food and you ate it. And if you had too much to drink, you could spend the night and then leave. And it worked for everyone. And they still have a very vibrant small farm industry in Italy.
That's
It's kind of a
amazing.
cool thing.
Yeah. I want to learn more about.
Italians will do anything to avoid taxes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Zach.
No, that's a good point. I want to learn more about this now, Evelyn.
So I listed the Matthews bill. It's HM2 and it is on the website on the
That's a
legislature.
memorial?
Yeah, she's calling it a memorial. The title is Agritourism Insurance Coverage.
Okay.
It's a memorial. I don't know whether it'll get on the call or not, but she did explain it a little bit. I'm thinking especially, you know, the estancia thing, pumpkin chunkin thing, where they fire the pumpkins. I'm sure that they don't have insurance for that. You know, I mean, how can
it's probably just private land and they probably take precaution and that's about it. That's probably it. But it's something I absolutely want to check out. I'm going to jump real quick to the legislative town hall. Evelyn?
Go ahead. Yeah, I think we're going to
I think we're done here, right?
We're done because I think this only lasted until 10.
All
So
right.
thank you for showing
Thanks,
up
Zach.
and
Of
letting
course.
me vent. Take
You
care.
got it. Strong support.
All right. Oh, Laura's here. I'm not going to shut it down yet. We have to say hi to Laura. Hi, Laura. You're muted. you're muted. She's gonna unmute.
How are you?
Hi, Laura. Good to see you.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Yes, we were just gonna shut this down because I think this was only supposed to last until 10 o'clock. But now we have Claudia here. She's a member of the Rural Caucus. She's my mentor in developing the Rural Caucus to the same level of superiority as the Vets Caucus. And how are you,
Activity.
Laura?
Nice.
Well, I live in a rural area, and I love that Evelyn is working so hard to get this caucus up and doing something more visible. And
That's
now that
awesome.
you've redistricted the CDs, this is going to be important to every single one of our national legislators.
Absolutely. I was in WIR, the Western Interstate region for the National Association, and then we also had our Rural Caucus. So I would go to the national one. So something to keep in mind if you ever want to get involved in those as well, or have them come to you through a Zoom. Maybe you could have some cool presenters.
That would be great. Thank you. We'll contact you about that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm the vice chair of the caucus, not the chair. The mayor of Mountain Air, Peter, is the chair. Hey, Laura, while I have you here
Ladies, I'm going to jump off.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you somewhere in this
yeah, I'll come
black hole of excitement here.
I'll come to your session. Laura, I have an initiative started here through Charla Parsons to get
Nice.
signatures. You know, she's leading the campaign for the House District Democrats, the House Democrats. So she and I exchanged information yesterday, and there's Damian, and she gave me your petition. So I'll be
Wonderful.
in addition to Matthew's petition, and I have governor, lieutenant governor, a couple of others. I will put yours on the clipboard as well, and we'll try to get you some signatures. And
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will get them back to Charla.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. That is wonderful news today.
Okay, good.
It has been challenging. Buenos dias, Damian. It has been super challenging to get petition signatures in the middle of a pandemic, because when you all meet together and you're in a primary that has opposition, they can only sign for one or the other. So then you have to go looking everywhere else to try to get them. And there's just hardly any events, or people just don't feel comfortable, you approaching them, and everybody's really skeptical about, where you've been.
Well, because she gave me yours, I mean, first come, first served, it's on the clipboard. I just have to, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make calls to super Dems in the area, the Edgewood area. Matthew has Edgewood now, all of it, and he has Placitas, El Dorado, and Galisteo. So that's where his communities are. And so those are the ones that are covering. And to be very transparent, had Heather given me hers first, I would put hers on the clipboard. I am not leaning one way or the other, to be honest with you. But since I'm doing it, I'm doing it. So we're calling the super Dems 90 to 100%, participation on Vote Builder. We're calling them, and we're going to try to have a drive-by sign up at the soccer field in Edgewood. You were there, you're familiar. So we're trying to do that. And then if they don't show up to that, then we'll make another call and try to get to their gate or something, because I'm not comfortable going in door to door either, but we're getting signatures for you guys.
Yay. Thank you. Every little bit counts.
Yeah. Hi, Damian. Damian contacted me on Messenger last night and wanted to get back together again and have a chat. And, technically, Damian, you're muted. Damian, yeah.
Well, no wonder nobody was saying hi back or anything, but I figured I didn't want to.
I know, I'm buenos dias, Damian. Nada.
I kept going back, and I was like, but that petition signatures is way more important than hello. So I figured I'd just keep my mouth shut.
No.
Well, we're trying to cover a lot of bases here. We're trying to develop the caucus, help the candidates, and so on and so on and so on. And I'm enjoying it. So I'm enjoying it. I'm hopefully that we have made an impact. I don't know. I'm still in CD1, Damian and Laura.
Oh, cool.
redistricting pushed all of Edgewood into CD1. Before redistricting, Edgewood was half in CD3 and half in CD1. So that made it very complicated. You remember that, Damian? Because
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely do.
stupid. It was stupid. So we fixed that. Well, they fixed it. And also we fixed the House district. The House district,
Oh, good.
yeah, used to be half Republican and half Democrat. So we had Matthew McQueen on the east side, Democrat, you know Matthew, of course. And then we had Stephanie Lord on the west side. So now HD50 has been pushed west, and I barely made it by a few streets into HD50, but it was pushed west to the county line, which makes more sense.
Oh, good. Yeah,
Oh,
that makes more
absolutely.
sense on the county. Yeah.
Right. So just so you know that the House districts are a little bit different to our Democratic benefit, and Matthew's district is much more condensed. Of all the districts, I think Matthew's was changed the most radically. It was condensed to north and west. Stephanie Lord's district, which is not something we need to discuss too much, but it was pushed to the Manzano Mountains and south down to Mountain Air. Unfortunately, Peter now has Stephanie as a representative, but there are a couple of people who are going to be trying to represent for the Democratic side. I hope we don't have a primary, but I don't, feel comfortable divulging their names because who knows who's going to come out in the end. Senate district is still the same. We still have Greg Schmiedes, and I did have lunch yesterday with the person who is probably going to run against him in 2024.
Okay.
His name is Bill Scott. He's going to be reaching out.
That name sounds familiar.
He's an Army vet. Well, it sounds familiar to me too, because his father is Rick Scott, but it's not the senator from Florida. Bill is an Army veteran, and he's very much a Democrat, needed to finish his retirement. So he will be running against Schmiedes in the Senate District 19, but that's not until 2 more years. Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl is muted.
Hello.
Hi. I'm running way over time, but this is such a, as Claudia put it, such a black hole of confusion that I really don't care. If somebody shows up, I'm going to say hi to them.
Yeah, I was getting on there's nobody in our second session. The legislative ones are well attended, and that's good. They're talking about legislation, and it's wonderful. I couldn't get my screen share to work. I've got a PowerPoint presentation, but every time I tried to share my screen, it knocked me out of this. And when I came back into the forum, I lost the screen share document. So
yeah,
I had to log in with my phone because my laptop kept not having the most updated Zoom download, and I spent an hour trying to download it and it wouldn't download, and Daniel was like, how dumb are you? You can't just, I was like,
the same thing happened to me.
We have a ticket. And I was like, he's like, scroll down. I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna get on my phone. After an hour, I was like, forget it.
We may have reached our technology cliff edge with this one.
Yes.
I don't have much more technology learning left in me at this age.
This ticket thing was a challenge. It took me about 30 minutes. I thought, if I'm having a hard time and I'm on Zoom all the time, can you imagine people who don't usually do this? This is difficult.
Yeah, I think we need to go back maybe to the old way. Well, I'm going to leave you and go back to the legislative one because that was
Cheryl.
Great to see you all.
And good to see everybody. I think I would like to go back there too and put a few, comments in about rural. So Damian, we caught up.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that you guys sometimes are still doing the East Mountain coffees and all that stuff. If there's anything that you're doing that maybe more in-person-ish and less technology-wise, I don't mind driving out to Edgewood or to the Tijeras area and stuff. Of course, I'm triple vaxxed and all that kind of stuff. But or if there's another like Zoom meeting, just let me know. I did touch base with Claudia. I do want to get a little bit more involved with the Veterans Caucus as well. But with the rural caucus, as you know, has always been the rural parts of New Mexico have always had a special place in my heart, and I want to make sure that I'm still engaged.
Damian, don't leave yet. I'm going to put the sign up for the rural caucus into the chat, and
Okay.
that way you'll get signed on. You can sign on. I know you're an Albuquerque resident, but anyone is welcome to sign in.
Awesome.
It's just that you'll be an associate member as an Albuquerque person, but that way you'll get,
Okay.
stuff. Let me tell you a little bit while you and I are together here.
Yeah, absolutely.
The East Mountain Democrats is where the rural caucus was born, but we're in the process of splitting away from the East Mountain office. Because, the we've had a vote, our executive committee and membership voted to separate the entities. So the East Mountain coffees are basically not rural caucus coffees anymore. The rural caucus now has new leadership. It's not Bill Piper anymore. It's not, Leo Sullivan, who you might have known, is gone. He did have a stroke, unfortunately, and he lives in Texas.
Oh, I was not aware.
Yeah, so he is no longer at the helm, but we do have an invigorated new caucus that, as I said, I'm modeling after Claudia's Veterans Caucus, and we're working together to bring both caucuses up, to the top of community involvement and stuff like that. So do join. It's there's no dues.
Okay.
We haven't figured all that out yet. And if we ever have dues, they will be voluntary. Okay. So I'm going to shut this down,
awesome.
Damian. I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to go over to legislative. Okay. Take care.
Perfect. I'll see you there.
Bye.
You too. Bye.